everybody.
Hi, friends. Well, from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast. I'm Dan Beecher.
And if you haven't guessed, filling in for Frank, I'm Kate Birch.
Yes. Well,
Here again.
they may not have guessed who you are exactly.
Well, they figured I wasn't Frank, probably.
Yeah, they guessed that
I
one.
think they probably figured that one out.
But like new people didn't know.
Oh, new people will think I am Frank. No, they won't even know who Frank is.
They don't know who Frank is. You're Frank.
Who is Frank?
Nobody knows. Hey, coming up on today's show, a little later in the show, we're going to be talking a little bit about politics.
Sorry, guys. I know you're probably sick of it.
We're going to be talking about deals with the devil is what we're going to be talking about.
That's really true.
And it's important. It turns out that it is very important to make deals with the devil.
It depends which devil.
Well, yeah, but you got to make some deals sometimes.
You
So
gotta make
we're
some
gonna
deals.
be talking about the deal that you and I and many other Utahns are going to be making with
one of the devils.
El Diablo.
Yeah.
Il Diavolo. That's the Italian. I'm trying to get Spanish out of my brain and replace it
I don't
with
have this
Italian.
problem. I don't have any of it in my brain.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, what do you want to lead us in?
I can get us started. I feel like today you helped pick some of the stories, and I think that you chose this story of my people. Dan sees a story about Jewish people, and he's like, Kate can do this one. Not that I'm just kind of, I'm not
You think
religiously Jewish, but I'm
culturally
not
heritage.
Racially, is it?
Ethnically Jewish?
Ethnically? Yeah, anyway, whatever it is.
You're genetically Jewish.
That's actually really true. And my stomach pains will tell you that, and my anxiety will tell you that.
You're blaming the Jewish people.
It's the truth. And they should be blamed. And I'll tell you what, there's some other things that they should be blamed about this week.
Uh-oh.
Well, going back a ways. So apparently a while ago, the New York Times put out this report about how these Hasidic schools in New York City were just horrible. And
Horrible in the sense that they weren't actually teaching kids any of the thing, like, reading and math.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I know. One of the crazy things that this article I was reading said was that in 2019 they gave them standardized math and reading scores or exams to like 1,000 students, and guess what percentage of them failed?
High. I think we reported on this.
Oh, did you?
I don't remember what it was.
It's 100%.
Oh,
Every single one of them failed.
every single one of the students?
Yeah,
That's
of 1,000 students.
a high number.
Yeah, I think they're failing their students.
100%. That's higher than any of the schools. That's
I know.
You know what? That is 100% success at failure.
It is. You know what? That's a really. You should tell them they're going to start feeling better about themselves.
That's right.
But
they can't. It doesn't matter. They can't do the math anyway. They don't know what that means. If you say 100% to them, they don't understand.
They'll be like, "How is this important religiously?" I mean, that's part of the problem is that they're just like trying to bring up people who only understand religious things and they don't care about anything secular. But now, not only are they failing their kids academically, but they're stealing from them.
What?
Yeah. So there's this huge report about like this extensive fraud that these people have been committing over the past few years, where they've literally stolen like $3.2 million worth of money that was supposed to be allocated. Like a huge portion of it was for meals.
Oh, shit.
So they lied and they said, we actually have this after school program where kids are staying and we need to be able to feed them dinner. And it was like a million meals that they reported like needing funding for. And basically all of it was a lie. They hadn't fed any of these children.
You know what they said? They said to themselves, you know what? These kids are too dumb. They don't deserve food.
They don't. Yeah.
They don't even know how to read or do math. I'm not going to feed them.
They had a sign up and it said "This way to food," and none of the kids knew how to read, so they couldn't find the food. That really wasn't what happened. But The funny thing is they were like, as far as a school goes, they were really trying to take care of like their staff members. Like they were like giving them all this compensation that they shouldn't have had, and like they were like giving them insurance policies even after the people hadn't even worked for the school anymore. I mean, it was like probably they were all siblings or something. Right. I don't know, but
I will say this: I think teachers. It's not that. Even those teachers, it's not that they shouldn't have had it. They probably should have that.
Yeah, I'm sure we want our teachers taken care of.
Everyone should have insurance.
Well, no, yes, that's true.
And yet,
these were like life insurance policies,
right? And this was off the books.
Oh yeah, they were like trying to find all the ways to
under the table
to scam the government from out of money. But they will end up having to pay back the $3.2 million that they stole, plus $5 million in penalties. So I guess there's gonna be a lot of little Jewish kids going around. Like, do they have fundraisers? They're gonna be selling a lot of chocolate bars, kosher chocolate bars,
selling latkes or whatever you do.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, okay.
So people love to think that their religion has such high standards and is so much better than everybody else, but.
Here's what
they're gonna scam you just as much.
What
as
jumps to my mind is all of the things, because we're talking about ultra Orthodox Jews, or at least like very Orthodox Jews.
Yes,
they may not be the Hasidim. I don't know.
Either.
But I think about all of the rules that they have about their Sabbath and about how you can't push a button,
right? And then they find the workarounds,
and then they find the loopholes.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing something on a documentary where a rabbi was saying, well, if God created a rule that has a loophole, he obviously wanted us to use it.
He wanted to see how clever we were.
And I just got to think that like when that's your culture, some people are going to look for ways to cheat the system. Like,
well, it's totally true. And it's like, well, God lets us cheat. God thinks it's fine if we cheat. So clearly the government should be fine with it.
I don't know.
What? The government is better than God?
I don't know if they think that they should be fine with it. But when your brain is looking for loopholes in everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Embezzlement doesn't seem like a stretch.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You think I just gave you the Jewish one, but I'm actually gonna, since we're on Jewish schools.
Yeah.
Frank and I reported a couple months ago. I don't know when. I don't have a concept of time.
I know you don't.
Some amount of time ago, we reported on Yeshiva University, which is a Orthodox Jewish university.
Uh-huh.
Their students, this is a university that gets like government money.
Uh-huh.
And their students had formed an LGBTQ plus club.
Nice.
Now, when you have clubs on campus and you take money from the government, you are not allowed to discriminate about who gets the clubs.
Yes.
But Yeshiva really wanted to discriminate. So, they banned the club, and then the club sued, and this is the Supreme Court got involved a little bit. Now it's kicked back to the New York State Supreme Court, which decided in favor of the students this year.
Oh, good.
But it's still like
wrapped up.
The appeals process is still happening. I think they are appealing it to the Supreme Court.
So it's going to be like religion against. I mean, because the religious schools like to discriminate. They're kind of their shtick.
It's their favorite thing.
Yeah.
However. So what the school did was just say, okay, fine, we don't have clubs here anymore. That was
We're punishing all of you.
That was their next big move.
Uh-huh.
But they just announced a new group.
Oh,
that Yeshiva says will welcome LGBTQ students.
What is the group? Jump off this clip.
The Kol Israel Aravim Club.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
What does this mean?
Well, what they're claiming is that the kids will have their group now.
Oh, well, what changed their mind, I wonder?
Nothing. Here's the problem. The original group that was the YU Pride Alliance that was suing the school.
Yeah.
That's not who they reinstated. They didn't reinstate that club.
What did they do?
They started their own little group.
Because they wanted to control it?
They want to control it.
Oh.
And so the YU Pride Alliance is now decrying this as a stunt. They're saying that it is a sham. They say this sham is not a club, as it was not formed by students, is not led by students, and does not have members. Rather, it is a feeble attempt by YU to continue denying LGBTQ students equal treatment as full members of the YU student community.
Well, couldn't they just... So if they're saying now we have clubs again, and you're allowed to have clubs, then couldn't they just start...
They didn't say that.
Well, but they're calling it a club.
They're calling it a group. I don't know. It's not a student club.
Oh.
So it is a group that they're trying to
say... That nobody
say,
belongs to.
They're trying to say this, we will welcome all of you LGBTQ students in our club. I don't know about that.
Well, then the students should go to the club and then do the things they wanted to do in the other thing. And just make it what they want it to be.
Well, there's no clubs.
Well, then they should make it in the group. Anyway, I don't get what the difference is.
The legal thing is outstanding. It is still going forward. Okay, well, both sides are still vowing to continue litigating this matter in the courts.
All right.
But yes, this fake club, this pretend LGBTQ club.
Not club. You said group.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm saying pretend.
Well, I just don't get what the difference is.
Because it's fake. Because it's run by the school, not by the students.
Do they have 40-year-old people that are dressing up as kids?
A rabbi with a long beard walks in and he's
wearing the hip
"Hello,
clothes.
fellow students."
Yeah. And the women have pigtails or something. Whatever they think kids wear.
He's got a skateboard and a backpack on.
And probably clothes from the 80s.
Well,
I feel like this is actually a sitcom.
I think we may have.
We just came up with a really great sitcom.
Yeah, all right. All of our Hollywood listeners can call us.
You're welcome, guys.
No, we're going to be the showrunners for this thing.
Okay, I'm on board for that. So just somebody hire us.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
What's your next one?
Okay, my next story is about a poll that Pew Research put on about asking people whether they think the United States should be a Christian nation. Because, we're all talking about Christian nationalism right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of out of control.
It's so hot right now.
It
is the sexy thing.
So apparently 45% of Americans believe that the United States should be a Christian nation. And 45% is not a small number.
No, they believe that this should be a Christian. What does that even mean?
Well, that was the funny thing about this poll is that it was very non-specific. And people were just allowed to sort of, I don't think people couldn't really even summarize what they thought that meant. They were it could mean literally anything that you wanted it to mean.
Here's the thing. Way more than 45% of our country is Christian.
Yeah, but
so I love that the number is below the number of Christians.
Well, that's true. And so they did have more specific questions that went along with this. So I'm just going to read you some of the different percentages of this poll.
Okay.
So one of the questions was, do you think the founders of America originally intended for this to be a Christian nation? And 60% of people said yes, that's disturbing to me.
Yeah, it's very wrong.
Well, it's just because we're also not allowed to learn anything of any reality in school. So that's problematic. So then there was the question, do you think the U.S. should be a Christian nation? And that was when 45% said yes. And 51% said no. So in all of these, there's an undecided. There's I don't know. I don't know what that means. And then this one kind of gave me a little bit of hope. Should the Supreme Court justices bring their own religious views into how they decide their cases? And 83% of people said no and 15% said yes.
83? That's actually impressive.
I thought so because...
Especially considering that currently our Supreme Court, that's all they do.
100% bringing that. I mean, isn't that only what Roe v. Wade being overturned was?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that seemed kind of promising to me.
Yeah.
But one of the funniest things about this, so there was a whole bunch of different things that they were, asking people. And like I said, people didn't have a very nuanced view of what they thought it should mean about whether or not the U.S. should be religious. But this was another thing that gave me hope, and I was kind of excited about this. So it measured people by age. And it was a huge factor in determining whether or not people believe this. And this will just kind of give you hope for the future. So among Americans over 65, 63% of people said that we should be a Christian nation. That sounds about right. Compared to 18 to 29-year-olds, 23%. Yay! The youth will save us. They will save us. I really think they will.
Maybe.
But this.
I'm not counting on anything.
I know, right? So this is actually, of this poll, I think the funniest thing that it pointed out was actually how stupid people are. Because so they polled people and they were like, "What is your view on Christian nationalism?" And because we were just saying, Christian nationalism is a big thing in the news right now. Well, 45% of people didn't even know the term. 45% of Americans, well, the ones interviewed, didn't know what Christian nationalism meant. And
unfortunately, that's why it's succeeding so well.
Well, I know it's
because
true.
People don't understand what it is that is happening. They don't see that fascism is trying to take over their country.
Yeah, and they're not afraid of the fact that this is just it's terrorism like anywhere else, or it can be. It can move people towards that. So, I mean, not surprisingly, people who were not Christian.
Did you just say not surprisingly?
I said not surprisingly.
I'm pretty sure I heard Nazi.
I didn't say Nazi.
Okay.
Not surprisingly. Non-Christians were way more likely to have heard of Christian nationalism than Christians were.
Yeah.
So it was 55% versus 40% or something like that. And Democrats were way more likely to have heard about it than Republicans.
Which is funny because I have heard people like Marjorie Taylor Greene overtly saying, I don't mind if someone calls me a Christian nationalist. I am a Christian nationalist.
Well, yeah, she is. And she's crazy.
Yeah.
But again, another little ray of hope was that once they heard about what it was and somebody explained to them what Christian nationalism was, 24% thought they felt unfavorably about it, whereas only 5% felt favorably about it.
Wait, but now you've only gotten to 29% of people.
Okay, well, maybe that was the people who knew it.
Oh, okay.
Of the people who knew what it was, most people... I don't get how statistics work.
Okay.
All I know is that...
Did you go to a yeshiva? Did you go to a Jewish school in New York?
Kind of. I went to art school. So, yeah, basically.
Okay.
And they didn't feed me lunch either.
Oh.
They probably
outrageous.
stole my lunches there.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take us to upstate New York.
Okay.
The Buffalo area, where the diocese of Buffalo, now we're getting into Catholicism here.
Okay.
There's been trouble in the diocese for a while now, dating back to 2020 when there was a big...
Is this going to be are we talking about child abuse?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Frank and I have often said, where there's a diocese...
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of fill in the blank. You know what it is.
You have child sexual abuse. So
yeah.
Sorry about the trigger warning on that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Not only... So one of the things that happened was that New York State put a moratorium on, or a window where statute of limitations was gone.
Oh, okay.
So back in, I think that was 19.
Oh, so they said even if it's been 30 years, you can report it?
You can still sue your abuser.
Oh, I love that.
Well, it bankrupted the diocese of Buffalo and others too.
Didn't we want it to bankrupt the whole thing?
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. It also opened up the Diocese of Buffalo to the gays of the state, who suddenly was like, you didn't protect kids, even when you knew there was a priest, and that priest had allegations of abuse against them. You didn't protect people, so they went in. Letitia James, the Attorney General.
Oh yeah.
Is she the Attorney General? The District Attorney? I get those mixed up. Anyway, went in and went after them. And so there's been some resolution. There's been a settlement.
Oh, yay.
Of this. Basically criminal. I think it's a criminal investigation. And the settlement is very weird.
Okay, what is it?
No money needs to change hands. They do not owe the state any money. No one's going to jail. But they're instigating a program now where the diocese is under external governmental observation.
I love that. But maybe that should be the case everywhere.
Kinda.
I'm surprised they're not saying separation of church and state for that.
Well, they agreed to this.
Okay. They agree because they were like, we don't want to pay money, so we'll agree to this.
Yeah. So literally, any priest who's been credibly accused of abuse will be assigned a monitor with law enforcement experience.
Wait. A priest that has been credibly accused is still allowed to be a priest?
Well, they're monitoring the situation. So probably then, like, no, actions will need to be taken.
Okay.
The priest will probably have to be like, but it all has to be out in the open.
Okay, well, that's
so
good,
literally it has to be published.
They can't sweep stuff under the rug they've been doing this whole time.
That's right. They can't just shuffle them off to a different diocese or
somewhere else
to a different priest.
Wait, could they
parish or whatever?
Send them to a different state since this is state run?
This their name must be published on their website. Like, this has to be. Like, there is bright light shining on them. 2 bishops who were sort of instrumental in the shuffling around and in the cover up. They're both retired. This seems so stupid to me. But they are both banned for life from holding any financial role in a New York-based charity.
Well, that seems like a weird...
It feels woefully inadequate to me. Matter of fact, all of this feels like so below bare minimum.
Yeah, it really seems disappointing. I would love to hear like what the victims think, if they feel like, oh, this is any form of justice.
Well, they still get to sue.
Oh,
the victims still get to sue for monetary compensatory damages. But
this is just what the state
This is
doing.
just the state saying, you guys were criminally negligent on this, and we're going to monitor you. And right now, it's looking like we don't actually know how long this will last, but this will be in place for at least 5 years, and everything they do will be under a microscope.
Yeah, I just feel like that should just be the case for any institution
right?
like that. Yeah.
It does feel that way. Considering the scope of the problem, it feels like they should all have
It
to
should be like, if
experience
you
this.
want to not pay taxes, then you have to be monitored.
And of course, this isn't
You
even well. And if you deal in a position of trust with
especially
children,
with minors, totally.
Like, there should be so many hoops you have to jump through.
Yeah.
So many, and there should be external oversight.
Right, because we already know it doesn't work internally.
And it's not just Catholicism, it's all of them.
Yeah.
It's literally all of them. I didn't choose it as one of my stories, but like, there was a big thing recently in Pennsylvania with Jehovah's Witnesses. It's in the Mormon church. It's in all of the Buddhists. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you give people unlimited power and they're going to abuse it.
If you give them power and they tell their flock to trust them because God said to.
Yeah.
They are in a very specific situation, and it's super dangerous. And yes, oversight should be the lowest bar.
Absolutely.
But at least one diocese in this country is going to be having to deal with that.
That seems pretty positive to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on to my last story.
Sure.
This is kind of a fun one. So, I mean, this brings up odd feelings in me because it's a church that's being discriminated against.
Uh-oh.
And I feel bad for them.
You really do?
Yeah.
You're not even being
bit.
facetious?
I do. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't. I mean, no, I do because I don't think it's a real church.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it is a real church. So this is the Jaw Healing Kemetic Temple in Southern California.
Well, I'm on board already.
So they are the Cannabis Church of Southern California.
Ah, okay.
And they were shut down because there were accusations that they were functioning as a dispensary. Which seems really funny to me.
What? This weed church is giving out marijuana. What's happening?
I know. So here's the thing that's like the most funny to me is they clearly jumped through all these hoops to become a legitimate church. Like they have
As legitimate as churches get.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there's like to be a church, you have to have, and I don't know what all the things are that you have to have, but like, here's some of the things that they did have.
Okay.
They had a central place of worship, ordained ministers, regular Sunday services, a distinct form of religious practice, literature, beliefs, books of scripture. Like, that's
a skunky smell.
Totally. They were kind of going above and beyond, it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
But because they, people on the outside knew that what they were really all about was the weed, the law enforcement thought they'd check them out. And when they did check them out and they went in, they found that there was a sales room inside the church where they were selling jars with cannabis and cannabis-infused drinks and edibles. I mean, this sounds like a nice, fun church to go to. Although so it's funny to me that they got in trouble for selling it.
You don't even like weed.
I know, I don't. It's true.
But for those who do. Here's what's ironic about this.
I support other people being able to have it.
The bullshit of this is that it's legal in California.
That's what I don't. Okay, this
but
is the
they
thing
just
that I don't.
control how it's sold. So they
Right.
got in trouble for selling it.
They got in trouble for selling it, but they also were not allowed to provide it. They weren't supposed to give it out to their members either.
Oh, really?
Yes. So
Oh,
even
okay.
if they weren't selling it, they were not supposed to provide it as a sacrament or to their members.
Bring your own weed.
It was a BYOW
to church.
To church. And so now their members don't have anywhere to practice and they're displaced. And
Yeah.
actually their leader, I don't know what they called themselves. Their pope had to serve jail time for it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
in fairness, that was a ding-dong move on their part.
it was.
They can read the law. They can hire a lawyer.
Yeah.
And they knew that they were on the ice that they were skating on was thin.
Yeah.
Take precautions, idiots.
Yeah. Anyway.
And honestly, like, I'm fine. I do smoke your weed. Everybody get your weed on. I'm perfectly happy. But it's another religion, and that's just dumb.
Yeah, and it seems like they made it a religion just to probably think it was funny. I don't know. Maybe they were really serious about it.
They were serious about it, but like, no.
Oh! I have to
don't turn something that's fun and recreational
into a religion,
into beliefs.
And here's the funny thing. And whenever I see something like this, I think, oh, they're just trying to like use the Bible in funny ways, like to like get back at the man. But they did claim that it was a Christian religion because in Exodus 30:22 there was some thing that said that they believed in the fragrant cane ingredient of the holy anointing oil as being cannabis. So
like in the Bible passage.
Yeah, in Exodus 30:22, it referred to this, and they were like, they are referring to cannabis, and so
prove it isn't.
We're basing our whole religion around this. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny.
I love the idea of like, there's a mystery ingredient. We know what it is.
You're as right as anybody else in pretending that you know what it is.
Here's the thing. When I was super duper high, Jesus told me that the ingredient was weed. So there you go. Well, you talked about how many ding-dongs in the U.S. here believe that it's okay that this should be a Christian nation.
Yeah.
Our neighbors to the north just had a census, and they just released their census data.
I'm excited to hear it.
And nuns, NONES, this is the category of people who don't
have subscribed to a
they don't affiliate with any specific religion. Do you want to guess? I'll say this. In 2001, the nuns were 16.5%.
Okay, I want to guess.
Okay. 28%. 34.
Wow, that's a chunk.
That is not a small number.
That's a nice chunk.
So yeah, that's a nice little jump.
Yeah, big jump.
So here's the thing. They're usually with a jump up in nuns, they're taking it away from some category, and that is a jump down in Christianity.
Yeah.
And that is a nice thing to hear. In 2001, the country of Canada, it was, let's see, Christians made up 77.1%.
Whoa, that's a huge amount.
And it is down to 53.5%.
Canada.
So,
big high five to our friends up north.
Yeah.
You guys are doing it right.
There's been a small growth in, it doesn't sound small if you say that the percentage of Muslims has doubled.
Okay.
That
it probably was pretty small.
They went from 2% to like 5%, or something like that. That's still big. Immigration has been big in terms of changing the religious demographics of Canada.
But
Hindus also jumped up a little bit.
But that's not taking all those Christians to nuns. I wonder what it is. What Canadians tell us? What do you think it is?
Well, one of the things is
they're just smartening up.
Well, I mean, this is following a similar trend line here in the United States, actually.
But ours that significant?
It's getting there.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I mean, that feels very significant.
It is significant.
Yeah.
We are as a country, as a region now, we're wising up. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Our generation is interesting because I think we Gen Xers are raising kids to not be as religious, and that shows up in the numbers in Canada. Children under 10. So obviously, this is all of the people who were born in the 10 years previous to to the census.
Right.
Has gone up, and many of them are non-religious. Good
job, parents.
The parents are not
indoctrinating
their children as much.
Yeah, that's
hoorah!
It will only help the future.
We'll see
if we have a future. If we survive as a. I mean,
look. Humans are mostly ding-dongs. Yeah. Period. Yeah. No matter what we subscribe to, hopefully we can be a little bit more evidence-based as we move forward in our beliefs. But we'll always be ding-dongs.
Oh, it's the truth.
I'm a ding-dong. There's a bunch of ding-dongs out there.
You are a ding-dong.
Thank you. Well, if you would like to write in about Canadian ding-dongs or ding-dongs near you, please feel free. The email address is podcast@thankgodimatheist.com, or you can call us, leave a voicemail. We love to hear your voice. That number is 424-666-8442. More show coming up.
All right.
Well, Kate.
Yeah?
You and I are going to be, at the end of this year, dragged to a certain beloved amusement park.
Oh, yeah, we are.
In California. Jenna Ellis, this is the former Trump campaign lawyer, Jenna Ellis, is a Disney file apparently, but doesn't love all of Disney. So she has.
So she's not real. You can't be. I think you have to love it all, don't you? I don't know. How
I'm going to let her explain.
Okay.
But she's got a warning for us when we go.
Okay.
So I have a friend who, she and I are Disney friends, and I know that's a whole host of controversy as well, but go with me on this one. So she loves Haunted Mansion as the ride, and that is I think her favorite ride in Disneyland and Disney World. And so not long ago, I went out to California and I was visiting her, and she wanted to go on Haunted Mansion. Because this was, one of my first times hanging out with her, I decided to just say, okay, well, she wants to go on it and she's going on other rides that I want to go on, so I will. And the entire time that I was on that ride, I thought to myself, what am I doing? I am being completely contrary to my Christian faith, and I am actually going against what God has said for me too. And I was very convicted, and I ended up telling her afterwards, I can't ever go on this ride again. And it reminded me that as Christians, we are called to be separate from the things of the world. We are called to take a stand. And I failed in that instance to take a stand and to explain beforehand why I don't choose to participate in that activity. And that wasn't on Halloween. That had nothing to do with Halloween, but it had everything to do with what the purpose of that activity was. And so for me, as a Christian and as someone who everything that I do, and I fail all the time, but my goal and the entire orientation of my life should be to be separate from the things of the world that are not glorifying to Christ. And that particular day and that particular moment, I totally failed. I went on this ride that was a celebration of everything that is antithetical to the gospel of Christ.
Okay, I've been to Disneyland, but I don't remember, what is this ride? Is it just like people fucking and murdering?
Yes,
and what is on this ride?
It's all gay sex and trans people. The whole
it's just it
is the absurdity of her position, because it's not even spooky. You know what I mean? Like for a haunted house type of thing. It's like it's Disney-fied, so it's very gentle.
Yeah,
it's there. Even the little kids, they might get a little bit scared, but for the most part, it's the Disneyland style ride. So literally, you sit in the cart, and you turn left, and there's some things over there, and then you turn right, and there's some stuff over there, and it's like ghosts.
She said the purpose of it goes against everything Christian, and I'm like, isn't the purpose of it just to entertain you?
Yeah, there's nothing. I defy her to tell me what specifically she thinks goes against, because I know she believes that dead people can talk.
Yeah, right?
I know she believes that
she probably believes in spirits.
She believes in ghosts, at least one. There's that holy one in the Bible or whatever.
Totally.
What is it? Is it that they're making light of it? Is it that some of them might be playing cards, I think, if my memory serves? I don't remember.
Well, and here's the funny thing is she said everything she does, I don't remember how she phrased it, but everything she does was to the purpose of glorifying God. Well, okay, are the other rides at Disneyland doing that?
No.
So how is she justifying that?
Right.
Because she's supposed to be outside of the world. I don't think she should be in Disneyland at all, honestly.
Never go to Disneyland.
I really don't think she should be.
Here's what's I think the important takeaway of this. We need to figure out how to convince all of the Christians
that they aren't
to not go to Disneyland, because and we've got a couple months to do it.
I thought they were already working on that. Weren't the Disney characters making all the kids gay or something?
Yeah.
Weren't they afraid of that?
The extremists keep calling for boycotts on Disney because Disney keeps doing gay characters, and they keep not editing out stuff, and they keep blah blah blah. And then there's this big uproar and a call for a boycott, and then everybody realizes that, oh shit,
they like it.
This is my favorite babysitter. Is Disney Channel
and
or
it's
Disney.
Not just that, it's their favorite identity.
Yeah, they love Disney, so they're like,
they're not going to give it up.
Well, when it's a choice between Disney or Jesus, obviously I'm choosing Disney. Disney's at least real.
No, they'll
At least I can go to Disneyland and know that it's real.
They're not going to choose Disney over Jesus. They're just not going to think about it.
Right. Which is actually, in fact, choosing Disney over Jesus. All right. Well, look, Frank's not here, so we're not actually going to do emails, and we're not going to do patrons. So
sorry, guys. I feel like I'm ruining it for you by not being Frank.
No, Frank's ruining it for everyone.
Okay, you're
not
right.
being
It's
here.
Frank's fault. It's Frank's
How
fault.
dare he?
He's rude.
But I will say this. If you appreciate what we do, you want to be a part of it, you can become one of our patrons. There are some benefits. We
recorded that Kate and Dan diary.
Yeah, the Frank and Dan diary, and or Kate and Dan diary, and or Kate and Frank diary,
and or whoever's here diary.
But there's extra content every week that's available to our patrons at whatever level that's available. You'll have to read up on it. But go to thankgodimatheist.com, click on the support tab, and it'll take you to there. You can give us just a little bit of your cash. You choose how much you want to support us.
A lot. I say a lot.
You know, if you can afford it and you're not giving us a bunch of your money,
how rude.
You're just being a jerk. Anyway, thanks to all of our patrons. I assume our Lord and Savior is still Davis. Davis, thank you so much. More show coming up. Oh, Kate.
Yes, Dan.
It is election season here in these United States.
We all know it because of the phone calls we're getting.
I literally got a phone call while we were
doing
this. That was some sort of what's great is that my phone was like spam likely.
Yeah.
But it was, or scam likely or whatever. But
it's spam and scam.
It was,
Spammy scam.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. It's midterms, and those tend to be low turnout, and they tend to reverse the course of things.
Yeah, it's funny how fickle the public is. And like, it takes nothing. They're like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to vote for this person. And then like a year later, they're like, hey, I blame you for everything.
Or exactly. Guys, Biden hasn't done enough. Well, he hasn't crowed about it. He's actually done
a lot. Yeah.
He's actually been kind of amazing in the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Of his thing. But he's not even on the ballot.
No, he's not.
The people that are on the ballot are the people who are actually going to be able or not able to craft the laws of this country.
It's actually terrifying to like think of all the voter suppression that's going to be happening.
Yeah,
and,
literally, if the Democrats manage to hang on to the Senate and the House, there will be a national law allowing
protecting abortion.
Protecting abortion rights.
I know.
That's a huge fucking deal. Even if you don't want people to have abortions, or you think that you shouldn't have an abortion, we need to protect people's medical rights.
Yeah.
And that's a huge deal. And if it goes the other way, it will go the other way.
Yeah, I know, it's really scary.
That's an awful thing.
Even though the irony of and the hypocrisy of it's a state's right to choose. That was kind of their big talking point. And then the second they get any power, they'll be like, nope.
They're gonna take it away.
Yeah.
I say this. So you have to understand that what I'm about to say comes from the perspective of Kate and I. You and I both are passionate.
Yes.
About abortion rights.
Absolutely.
And about many other issues also. So it may come as a shock to some of our listeners that we will both be voting for someone who is pro-life.
Yeah, it comes as a shock to me, to myself. Like,
yeah.
I would never have thought that. Like, it's such...
Especially at this pivotal moment.
Exactly. This point in time, it is hugely important to me. I mean, it's always been hugely important to me. I've said this before on your show, but I've had 2 abortions myself. So,
yes.
And I really think that benefited my life.
Your family.
My family. I think I would have been a worse mother had I had more children, and I just wouldn't have been able to handle it. And so it's like personally extremely important to me. Yet,
you have daughters?
I do. I have daughters who are of the age that this is this could affect them. Even if they choose to have families and choose to get pregnant, this could affect them if something goes wrong with their pregnancy.
If they have ectopic pregnancies,
exactly.
any number of things.
Yeah.
So that is the backdrop for us.
I know.
So the fact that you and I are going to both vote for Evan McMullen,
yes, as our senator
in our Senate race here, that's saying something.
I think so.
And the reason that we're doing it is because the person that he's running against is fucking Mike Lee. The incumbent.
I mean, you guys all know you don't have to live in Utah to have hatred for Mike Lee.
Oh no, all of you should hate Mike Lee.
Yeah.
Every single one of you, even if he was kind to your family.
I don't care.
Hate Mike Lee.
Yeah.
The correct choice is to hate Mike Lee.
Absolutely.
Such an asshole.
He's horrible, and I know he had some central playings in the January 6th stuff. I think there were direct emails between him.
He was deeply involved. He was
wanting to find that fake slate of what is that?
Of electors.
Electors, yeah.
He was literally just sucking Trump's taint the whole time.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, I think one of the things what we wanted to talk about today, is the fact that it's harder to convince yourself to actually vote when you are holding your nose to do it.
Absolutely. And, I feel like people have this idealistic view of voting that it has to be their most perfect candidate and they have to represent everything they believe in.
Yeah. And especially if if you've got an issue that you are passionate about.
Yeah.
A lot of people, especially young people, but a lot of people feel like I could never, ever vote for someone who believes differently than I do about this issue.
And I feel like I might even have been one of the people, I can imagine myself saying that.
Sure. But here's the thing. Politics is not a zero-sum game. Politics is literally the reason we had Trump instead of Hillary Clinton was that kind of thinking.
It really was. And
because we had the votes.
Yeah, we've seen the damage that will do. And I think I said to you earlier, you can't be myopic about it. This isn't this thing where your face is pressed up so close to this issue. You have to zoom back a bit.
Yeah.
You have to think of the longer, bigger picture of things.
There's no such thing as a single issue voter. If you believe in one issue and that is the only issue that guides your vote, you're voting wrong. You're voting badly.
Yeah, and I mean it's probably what caused so many people to vote for Trump
in the first place.
So it's there's this weird irony of all of it.
But the problem is that your vote has to be pragmatic. It has to be more than idealistic. It has to be pragmatic.
Yeah.
Because it is not a perfect world. And your ideology is good. You should have ideals. Absolutely.
But you kind of have to, that same thing where you have to think how they all fit into the puzzle of things.
Yeah.
It's not just the one piece that you're holding. It's this big picture of a world that you want to make.
And so the options that we have, and it was interesting what Utah did.
Utah is an interesting case this time.
The Democrats of Utah realized, and they're correct in this, that no Democrat is going to win a Senate race in the state of Utah.
Nope.
Not right now.
We know we're pretty heavy red.
And we're a ways off from a Democratic senator.
Yeah.
So they didn't field a candidate.
I really think that was smart.
They put their eggs into Evan McMullen's basket, realizing that he is the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, and is he running as a Republican?
No, he's running as an independent.
Right, because he couldn't have been on the ballot.
Yeah, he can't.
But he holds a lot of what I would consider Republican values.
Traditionally conservative values.
But way more moderate.
Anti-Trump.
Yeah.
Saw through the bullshit of the whole Trump thing. And sort of, it's funny because he knows what side his bread is buttered on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can't say I'm anti-abortion and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But he very clearly is.
Yeah.
He has said he's pro-life.
Mm-hmm.
He's also said that he thinks there needs to be a much more nuanced conversation about it, and that the laws need to have, like, he wants it to be illegal, but he wants big exceptions.
Yeah. Not as black and white.
But you know what? As bad as he is not the candidate I want.
No, me neither.
He is not who I want to be my senator. But given the choice, and he's actually like been pretty neck and neck in the polls, like there is a chance he could actually win this
I
thing.
am so excited to see. I mean, we don't only have to wait a few more days. I am so excited to see what the outcome. If we will all be celebrating in Utah if Mike Lee is not reelected.
The point is voting Mike Lee out with a candidate that seems, at very least, for all I can see, for all the research that I've done, at very least a decent human.
Yeah, I mean, and he's proven, like, it's funny because some of the things that he's said in the past are coming back a little bit to bite him out of context, but like he's said things that could have been unpopular to a lot of Republicans because so many Republicans were just on the Trump train,
right?
Yeah,
he does not appeal to the QAnon Trumpers. The MAGA crowd will be voting for Lee,
and
for
honestly,
sure.
I think that takes at this point in time takes some courage. Sadly,
Yeah,
but
I think the big point here isn't our little race in our dumb little state.
Yeah.
The big point here is that it can be hard to convince yourself to vote when things don't seem ideal.
Yeah, you just think, well, fine, I won't do it at all. It's better that I not vote at all and keep my morals,
my integrity intact or whatever. This is not an acceptable
time for that.
No, you can't do it. Those of you who are here in the United States, you got to get out and vote. Like, even if you hate the candidate that you need to vote for,
and you hate the system, and you hate even if you hate all of it,
you're not allowed to have malaise. You're not allowed to be bored by politics right now. You're not allowed to.
Well,
cut it out.
You're allowed to have all those things. Just don't let it prevent you from going to vote.
Yeah, still go vote. You still have to go vote.
Yeah.
It's just too important at this juncture in our history.
Well, and it's too important anywhere. I don't care if you're in the United States or not. This is happening everywhere.
Yeah.
It feels like the
radical... Italy just elected a little mini Mussolini.
Yeah.
It is not okay.
Brazil is having their election currently.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's important.
It is important. And when our little corner of the world, meaning skeptics, non-believers, we're supposed to be better at thinking.
Yeah, you would think. I mean,
what I'm getting at is, if you think of yourself as a good thinker, employ that.
Follow the thought all the way through, because sometimes we get stuck on the PU gross. I couldn't possibly.
Right.
And our emotions take over.
So you got to get past that.
Yeah.
And into your reasonable thinking.
Yeah.
Your
foresight.
If it's a lesser of two evils, then choose the lesser of two evils.
Yeah. Because we don't want the bigger evil.
Right.
Please, not the bigger evil.
If you don't vote for the lesser, the greater will win.
Yeah.
And then you've got the worst person.
And we've seen what happens. And oh my God, there's a lot of problems that are going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, yes, we're voting for the less bad pro-life candidate.
Yeah, I'll be filling my ballot out to mail in this weekend.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah.
So get out there and vote, everybody. Thanks so much for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
What do I do here? Oh, if you want to write into us, if you have anything that you'd like to contribute to the conversation, we'd love to hear from you. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com is the address, or you can leave a voicemail. The number there is 424-666-8442. That's 666-TGIA for Thank God I'm Atheist, in case you don't know. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click the like button. Thanks. Oh, wait, there's something else. I don't know. Anyway, thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their music. Thanks to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music. And thanks to all of you, friends, for tuning in.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next week.
Farewell.
Oh, and thanks to Kate for being our guest.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.